My name is Galia. I'm from Argentina. I'm 24 years old. I belong to two organizations, one from Argentina, which is OAHNU, the Argentine Youth Organization for the United Nations. I'm part of the Directive Commission there, and I'm also America's Steering Group representative at UNOY Peace Builders. One example of YPS implementation that I could share comes from the organization I belong to, which is OAHNU, and a specific project that we carry out, which is Youth Debate, or how we call it, Debate Joven, which is a project that we implement with young people between 14 years old and 18 years old, and we work directly with them and their own communities, and we work with topics that they choose themselves. So it's topics or themes that they are connected to and that they struggle with, whether that's inequality, how the digital world affects them currently. It can be also polarization. So it's a very nice way to also be connected to them in a peer-to-peer dynamic, and then that they can talk about issues that affect their life regarding conflict, So it's fosters them not only the active listening and the empathy, because they listen to each other, but also how to reach to solutions. And the way we implement it is that we try to cross youth from different contexts, from different schools, so that they can know each other, and then they can foster even more of these abilities and personal competences that we want to enhance in them. Some challenges and barriers to implementing the YPS agenda, specifically in the Americas region, I think have to do first that the framework is a little bit foreign to us. It contains a certain language that we're not fully connected to. We're more connected to words or frameworks that have to do either with SDGs or perhaps words that are more lean towards democracy and sustaining democracy, because that's what we're historically connected to. However, the YPS agenda and resolutions like the 2250 are sometimes foreign to us, because we tend to have a perspective on peace that is the opposite of war. And essentially the YPS agenda tries to foster a broader dimension of what peace and active peace is. But sometimes this YPS agenda is more foreign to us, because the language is not really very connected, and we don't have ownership of the agenda, and the institutions that really work on YPS are more concentrated in other parts of the world, more so the global north. And another, I think, challenge is that those civil society organizations and young people that really implement the agenda are overworked and are underpaid and are mostly volunteer-based. And so not a lot of people, not a lot of youth organizations can actually handle a lot of work. They're already struggling with their own lives and with their own contextual barriers, like, for example, inflation or economic issues that most countries in Latin America are facing. Added to that implementing the agenda already has its own challenges. So I think the fact that most of the people that are implementing it are young people that are volunteered already makes it harder for people to commit fully or commit in a way that is sustainable and actually has a broader impact than it actually does. I think something we can learn from YPS efforts in our region in the Americas is our resilience. We are very used to not having that many resources available to us, whether that's human resources, financial resources, or even the time to implement the agenda fully or the way we would like to. However, we are very innovative, we're very creative, and we're also very used to doing big projects out of 2 or 3 people, some elements, and a lot of enthusiasm. And so I think that is very admirable from our region, and the resilience that we have to always fight for a better implementation of the agenda, to always continue to advocate for the agenda, even though the conditions are not necessarily available to us for continuing to implement it. However, we are very strong and resilient towards those conditions. So I think that is something we can learn from and take to other parts of the world.